Hey, what's up guys? Tyler here with Secureteam. Well, today marks a very special day in history because it marks an occasion, some would say the occasion, the point in time where the public first really learned about this mysterious place called Area 51 and the mere idea that we possibly had alien technology, crashed flying saucers that were being reverse engineered by our government. Today marks a moment in history that forever transformed the landscape of our understanding about UFOs, aliens, and a government program to exploit a technology so powerful and dangerous that to this day the subject is classified higher than our most secret atomic weaponry. On May 15th, 1989, a man reluctantly came forward with famed investigative reporter George Knapp to reveal his work at this place, Area 51. No one had ever heard of it, and that he was there working on a program to study and attempt to reverse engineer an alien power and propulsion system for the US government. Flying saucers, extraterrestrial spacecraft from an advanced civilization that apparently had mastered space-time travel utilizing the manipulation of gravity, and they were visiting Earth. And that man who went on camera in shadow 30 years ago to the day was later identified as none other than Bob Lazar. And so in light of this very special day, in which 30 years ago, one man, blew the lid off of this entire secret, I would like you guys to check out this short film, which provides you guys with never-before-seen interviews and footage, providing a unique and intimate view into the events and the people surrounding this harrowing time 30 years ago.
Area 51, one of the most secretive spots on the planet. It's located on the northeast edge of the Nevada test site and is said to be where numerous top-secret weapons systems have been tested over the years. According to some UFO researchers, it's also where the government is test-flying alien spacecraft. It sounds pretty far out, but some Las Vegas residents report having seen these flying saucers.
A local scientist who says he worked at Groom Lake and saw the saucers joins us in tonight's interview. He has asked that his identity be shielded. Sir, how do we know you are who you say you are and that you actually have knowledge about what's going on at Groom Lake?
Well, I guess there's no way you could really know. There's really no way I could prove it without revealing my identity and getting myself into more trouble than I have already.
Exactly what's going on up there?
Well, there's several, actually 9 flying saucers, flying discs that are out there of extraterrestrial origin. And they're being test flown and basically just analyzed.
You say there's 9 saucers. How are those tests going?
As far as what?
As far as whether they're successful and that sort of thing.
Oh, well, some of them are 100% intact and operate perfectly. The other ones are being taken apart. I was involved mainly in propulsion and the power source.
Where did we get these saucers? How did they come into the hands of the government?
I haven't the slightest idea, and you have to understand the information is very compartmentalized, and I was only allowed information that pertained particularly to what I was involved in.
But I mean, couldn't our government have made them as opposed to getting them from some alien beings?
Totally impossible. The propulsion system is a gravity propulsion system. The power source is an antimatter reactor. This technology does not exist at all. In fact, one of the reasons that I'm going forward with this information, it's not only a crime against the American people, it's a crime against the scientific community, which I've been part of for some time. We're actively trying to duplicate these systems, yet they are in existence now and basically in the hands of the government.
What would happen to you if the government learned that you were giving us this information?
Anything could happen. I don't know. I haven't the slightest idea.
Well, you said you referred to getting into trouble. Have you had some repercussions already?
Yeah, I've been threatened with being charged with espionage. I've had my life threatened by them, my wife's life threatened by them, and I mean, I don't know where else you can go from there.
Well, we want to thank you for joining us. It's pretty interesting stuff you've got to say. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Well, more news in just a moment.
Now, first we go to Dan Rather in Beijing for a look ahead at the CBS Evening News.
CBS Evening News from China. We'll have extensive coverage of Mikhail Gorbachev.
The live interview with the shadowy dentist drew international attention. Portions were broadcast by radio in 6 European countries and in a nationally televised TV special in Japan. Despite numerous inquiries and feelers, Dennis has remained anonymous until now. His real name is Robert Lazar. He says he was hired to work at an area called S4, which is a few miles south of Groom Lake. At S4, he says, are flying saucers, antimatter reactors, and other working examples of technology that is seemingly beyond human capabilities. Gordon Knapp, Eyewitness News 8.
When somebody understands fission and fusion and the inner workings of nuclear reactions, they can't not know how to make a bomb out of it and just make a nuclear reactor to make power. It was like a Twilight Zone episode. It just kept getting stranger. The fact that it was happening at all was the weirdest part. Look, it's been 30 years, and all of a sudden you raised it to this level? You know, this is a powerful technology, fearsome technology, and you just don't want everyone to have it. It'll become obvious how to make constructive as well as destructive devices from it. It's my only guess as to why they have never released information. It's kind of difficult. Once you release the technology to be analyzed and give it to everyone, they can just run with it. You really can't keep the weapon potential hidden. You really can't. Look, with ET technology, you can literally rule the world.
You're going to an investigative reporter at a news station and you are outing the most secret project ranked higher than the H-bomb, and you're essentially putting your face and voice on the news, although you did a shadow interview first. You put yourself out there. That's because you were scared.
Yeah, there's no question. It's easy to joke about or laugh or remember just the good times now, almost 30 years later. But at the time, yeah, I was petrified. This was no joking around. I mean, it was hard to sleep. I had people wait up at night and keep an eye out. It was crazy. It was crazy. It absolutely destroyed my life. I mean, I weighed like 119 pounds or something then. I was stressed out all the time.
It's safe to say your employers were pissed as fuck.
Obviously, they were pissed.
What was the fear from at that time?
I was really afraid of the people that worked at S4. I had no idea how far they would go. How angry they were with me was made really clear. So there were so many things that happened. I mean, people breaking into my house, searching my car even when I went to the gym to work out. And I mean, I had friends with me that saw things like this happening. And even they were afraid. So I left in constant fear at the time.
This is the hard part of the story for people to understand. It's they don't really get a sense of what it was like because literally you had to be there for some of this. I lived through it. I know what it was like, what Bob was going through at that time. They were breaking into his house and playing mind games. You know, they'd leave the doors open, they'd leave the drawers open, nothing's taken. They'd write things on his blackboard or erase things, move things around. He goes to the gym with his buddy and he's kind of scared, so he's got an Uzi in his car. He comes out an hour later after working out. The doors to the car are open, the windows are down, the glove box is open, and the Uzi is laying there on the front seat. That wasn't a burglary. That was somebody messing with him. That stuff really happened. I can remember getting calls from Bob in the night, just that he had somebody in his house messing with him. I go over to see him to calm him down, and he's walking around with his Uzi peeking out the windows. Sounds paranoid, but as the old saying goes, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean somebody isn't after you. And in his case, they were messing with him. That was real. It's both frightening and infuriating.
Do you feel that you have been utilized in this mechanism of information release?
I think I'm doing something that somebody once done. I think I have been used in that regard. I think somebody, maybe not all of them, but some of them wanted this stuff out. They wanted to see how it would fly. I think that's why Bob Lazar was hired out there. I think on many levels, it does not make sense that they would put him in that job. But the fact is they did. He was out there and he was working on this stuff for a short period of time. I think they probably selected him because they knew he wouldn't keep his mouth shut. And that story would come out. And then I did my part of it in telling it to the world. I suspect that they figured I would quit, and that I would give up, that I wouldn't continue it for another 25 years and still be plugging away at it. But in the larger context, I think I was probably doing something that they wanted done. Let's get this story out there, see if people freak out, and then we can always pull it back. We can discredit the guy. I do think that there have been attempts to discredit me, that they've tried to make a run at me with false information. If Bob worked at Los Alamos in any kind of sensitive or classified position, then it becomes reasonable to say he could have worked out at S4. All the stuff about his educational credentials aside, if he was there, I don't really care whether he went to MIT or not. And I think we established beyond any question that he was there. I mean, I interviewed people that he worked with who said he was there. We had him in the phone book. We had him in the newspaper. I had confirmation from the company that recruited him, Kirkmeyer, that said that, yeah, we hired him, and they were going to give me the records, and then they said no. I know that the lab lied to me. I know that they thwarted my attempts to prove that he was there, but he was there. And one of the reasons I know he was there is because he took us in. We went there on a weekend. My photographer and I, Bryant Blackburn, flew to Los Alamos and went to the lab, and Bob took us in. It was like a rabbit in his burrow. I mean, he was taking us through buildings. Obviously, he knew his way around. We were there. He took us in. I guess there might be some other explanation for how he was able to have that access, but I'd like to know what it is. This is a reluctant UFO messiah. The only reason he came out to talk to us again is because I bugged him about it relentlessly. And he finally relented and came out. But he wasn't happy about it. Nothing good comes from the UFO field for him. It does nothing but cause him trouble. If he had to do it over again, I suspect he wouldn't do it because it changed his life. And there was a part of him that would really like to still be working on that stuff. I mean, it was really amazing technology. The most amazing technology he's ever seen. The descriptions of the golf ball experiment, where you throw a golf ball at this force field and it bounces off, or this demonstration where it freezes time, it freezes a flame, how the flame could still be burning without moving, without consuming this candle. How does that work? Even if he has been led down a path, and me along with him, that they have shown him glimpses of something for their own reasons, run it up a flagpole, let's see how the public reacts, and then discredit him down the line. He acknowledges that's possible. And I've thought about it all the way along, that we're being played with. But the idea that Bob was a disinformation agent or part of a program to mislead the public is wrong. He's not. And I can say that after knowing the guy for a quarter of a century. The story he told then is the story he tells now. He didn't add to it. He's not making it more elaborate. He's not remembering new parts of it. It's the same story. It's consistent all the way through. He's telling me something that really happened to him.
The mountains appear to float on dry lake beds, like spaceships from another world. They seem to ride on a viscous material channeled through empty space by heat that rises and separates. It vitrifies everything it contacts, like a green glass honey. A goddamn psychedelic liquid drowning the emptiness with imagination. This desert is pocked and punctuated by 1,000 gaping holes created in 1,000 atomic blasts that define an era. What are they building in the desert north of Las Vegas? What are they hiding? What the fuck are they hiding?
I knew the date of a specific test. We rented a car, took my wife, a few friends, and drove out to this place and turned the lights out and snuck into a little area, and we all watched it.
What made you start showing your friends exactly where and when the test flights were going to be? Why did you do that? Start showing people the flying saucer.
At that time, I was beginning to worry that I was going to suddenly disappear or something like that. So I finally broke down and told my close friends really what my job did entail, what I was doing. And I knew the test flight schedule. So I knew when to go out, what time to go out, and brought them there at that time and on schedule. The craft came up, did incredible maneuvers and flew around and then landed. So I wanted them to witness what I was, so there'd be something backing up what I was saying. And certainly witnessing the craft actually being tested was,
What turned them on you, the people that you worked with at S4? What turned that administration of people against you? When did it become dangerous for you? Why did it become dangerous for you?
I think that the start of it was the fact that they were monitoring my phone calls. And at the time, my wife was having an affair because she thought I was having an affair by disappearing at night going to this job. And they were monitoring that. Now, one of the requirements for clearance at this level is having a stable family life. You can't have some, tumultuous situation going on. So they want, just a happy, calm, normal person. I was beginning to move out of that category when they saw that this, affair was taking place. This is going to be a problem. So let's not have him come into work anymore until this resolves itself. And that's when I started bringing some friends out going, well, they're not asking me to come into work anymore, and they're not just going to let me go with all this knowledge that they gave me. So that's when I decided to show a close group of friends what was going on, just in case I did suddenly disappear or something like that. This is what I was doing.
The easy way out is to say he's a liar, he's making it up. It's hard to go ahead and accept the possibility that he's telling the truth. But if I did not believe it, if I thought for a moment that he was lying about it, I'd be done with it. I wouldn't still be supporting it 30 years later.
Your life has been under a microscope. Every word you've said for 30 years recorded has been under a microscope, and that's affected you.
Yeah, of course it is. It affects anybody.
How has it affected you?
In the way I talk and how much I do. I'd rather not, in a public forum, I'd rather just not say anything.
Why do you think people are so obsessed with every word that you say about your experiences, working
They're
at
just
S4?
looking for a way to look for an inaccuracy and to be able to discount the whole thing. Oh, he said this one time and said it's slightly different this time. Obviously he's making it up. No, that's just the first word that entered my mind. I don't put that much thought into it when I'm saying it. Look, as much as a lot of people hate it, this stuff really happened. I mean, if it bothers you, that's too bad.
I think that's just hard for people to accept.
Yeah, it would be, look, I fully understand. I would feel the same way. I'm not sure I would believe my story. Boy, there's not enough evidence, but I couldn't discount it either.
Since the New York Times story broke, since Lou Elizondo came forward, since those videos went public, the world is now talking about UFOs in a more serious vein. I think that's a good thing, and I think it reflects positively on Bob Lazar's story, and I hope that the world will take another look at it. The fact is, the people that know him best believe him the most. I hope that one thing that comes across in your film is the real Bob. Once you get to know him, it becomes much more plausible as a story.
You saw alien ships.
Yeah,
You worked on a gravity wave amplification system trying to figure it out.
right, a propulsion system and a power source that's completely unknown to mankind.
And there's no way human beings could have made it.
There is no way human beings could have made it, under any circumstances, in any country, anywhere, period.
And for 30 years, you are telling us the truth.
You bet.
This shit happened.
You got it.
You know, the fact is that that raid that happened in Michigan, that's a very dramatic and very important development. They weren't there looking for records about some customer he had a couple of years ago. They were looking for 115.
Reality simply isn't what it used to be. Things are not what they seem. Everything around us is a mental construct. We create our own reality. Breaking that down is hard to do. And once it's done, there ain't no coming back.
But it's true.
It's true. What I have seen is true. I don't know about the big story, where they came from, what they're like, but certainly these crafts came from another, not just another planet, another solar system entirely, extremely far away, and they're here.